It was a crisp Monday morning, and Tom Reed stood at the mirror, knotting his tie. His usual morning routine, quick shave, strong coffee, and a dash of cologne, had never felt so mechanical. It wasn't that he hated his job as a mid-level manager at Vanderson Enterprises, but lately, it had become monotonous. Reports, meetings, and endless numbers weren't exactly the fuel for his creative spirit. Lisa, his younger sister, burst into the room with her usual whirlwind energy. She was always the polar opposite of Tom, bright, daring, and unapologetically adventurous. As a freelance journalist, Lisa thrived on spontaneity, and it showed in her vibrant wardrobe and carefree demeanor. "Tom, you're never going to believe this," she started, leaning against the doorway. "What now?" Tom asked, adjusting his tie with practiced indifference. "I've been assigned to cover this immersive, experiential lifestyle piece. It's called the Switch Experiment. They're looking for two people willing to swap lives completely for a month. Roles, routines, everything. And guess what? I volunteered us." Tom froze, mid-knot, and turned to face her. "You what?" "Come on, Tom," Lisa pleaded. "You're always complaining about how dull your job is. This is your chance to break out of the monotony. And let's face it, I could use a month of structured routine instead of chasing deadlines." Tom sighed, knowing how persuasive Lisa could be. "And what exactly does this switch involve?" "Well," Lisa grinned mischievously, "it means we'll live each other's lives, clothes, roles, everything. You'll take my place as an editorial secretary at the magazine, and I'll take over your managerial duties." Tom laughed nervously. "You're joking, right? Me? A secretary?" Lisa tilted her head and crossed her arms. "Why not? It's just typing, answering calls, and organizing schedules. Besides, I'll teach you everything you need to know. Think of it as a way to expand your horizons." He rubbed his temples, considering the absurdity of it all. But before he could voice his protest, Lisa added, "There's a substantial cash prize for participants. Enough to fund that vacation to Italy you've been dreaming about." Tom's hesitation wavered. Italy had been on his bucket list for years. "Fine," he relented. "But don't blame me when this blows up in our faces." The next week, Tom found himself in Lisa's tiny apartment, surrounded by racks of her colorful wardrobe and piles of makeup he didn't know the first thing about. Lisa, ever the meticulous planner, had created a crash course for him. "Okay," she said, pulling out a sleek black pencil skirt and a matching blouse. "First lesson. You can't just wear your usual suits. My boss, Caroline, has a thing for polished femininity. You'll need to fit in." Tom eyed the outfit skeptically. "You're not serious." "Oh, I'm dead serious," Lisa said, smirking. "If I have to wear your boring ties and loafers for a month, you can survive a few skirts and heels." Reluctantly, Tom changed into the outfit. He stood in front of the mirror, tugging awkwardly at the skirt's hem. "I look ridiculous." "Nonsense," Lisa said, grabbing a pair of nude pumps. "Now, shoes." It took several attempts and plenty of stumbles, but Tom finally managed to walk a semi-straight line in the heels. Lisa applauded sarcastically. "Not bad for a beginner." Over the next few days, Lisa taught Tom how to apply light makeup, style his hair into a neat bun, and adopt a more graceful posture. She even gave him a crash course in office etiquette, explaining how to take meeting notes and organize files. By the end of the week, Tom had a newfound respect for the complexities of her job. On Monday morning, Tom walked into the sleek offices of Cosmoview magazine as Lisa Reed. His heart pounded as he approached the reception desk, his borrowed handbag slung over his shoulder. "Good morning, Lisa," the receptionist greeted him warmly. "Good morning," Tom replied, trying to sound confident. His voice was softer than usual, thanks to the hours of practice Lisa had insisted on. The day passed in a blur of emails, phone calls, and scheduling tasks. Caroline, Lisa's sharp-eyed boss, was a perfectionist, but seemed satisfied with Tom's efforts. He marveled at how quickly he adapted to the role, even catching himself enjoying the creative energy of the magazine. By the end of the week, Tom had settled into the rhythm of Lisa's life. He found a strange satisfaction in the meticulousness of it all: color-coded calendars, neatly arranged files, and the camaraderie of the editorial team. He even learned to appreciate the small joys of dressing up, though the heels still felt like medieval torture devices. Meanwhile, Lisa thrived in Tom's managerial role. Her natural charisma and quick thinking won over his team, and she tackled spreadsheets and strategy meetings with surprising ease. When they checked in with each other at the end of each day, Lisa couldn't resist teasing Tom about his newfound skills. "I hear Caroline's been singing your praises," Lisa said one evening. "Who knew my big brother had a knack for office politics?" "Don't get used to it," Tom retorted. "This is your life, not mine." But as the weeks went on, Tom began to notice subtle changes in himself. He became more attentive to detail, more empathetic in his interactions, and more confident in his ability to adapt. He even started to enjoy experimenting with fashion, discovering a flair for pairing accessories with outfits. One afternoon, Caroline called Tom into her office. "Lisa, I have to say, you've really stepped up these past few weeks. I'm considering you for a more senior role once this project wraps up." Tom felt a surge of pride, even though the compliment technically belonged to Lisa. "Thank you, Caroline. That means a lot." As the month drew to a close, Tom and Lisa met at their favorite coffee shop to debrief. Lisa was beaming. "Tom, you've done an incredible job. I've even had people ask me if I've been taking professional development courses, and you've managed to turn my team into your biggest fans," Tom said with a chuckle. "I'm almost afraid to go back." Lisa sipped her latte thoughtfully. "Maybe we've both learned something here. You've discovered a side of yourself you didn't know existed, and I've realized the value of structure and routine." Tom nodded, reflecting on how much he'd grown during the experiment. He'd started the month as a skeptic, but now he felt like a more well-rounded version of himself. As they prepared to switch back, Tom couldn't help but feel a pang of nostalgia for the world he'd temporarily inhabited. But he knew one thing for certain: he'd never look at life the same way again. And so, Tom and Lisa returned to their respective lives, forever changed by their month-long experiment. Tom carried with him a newfound appreciation for the complexities of Lisa's world, while Lisa approached her work with a fresh perspective and renewed focus. Together, they proved that stepping into someone else's shoes, literally and figuratively, could lead to unexpected growth and understanding. Tom's transition back to his role at Vanderson Enterprises felt both familiar and alien. The monotony of spreadsheets and endless meetings greeted him like a long-forgotten friend. Yet, something about him had undeniably shifted. His time as Lisa had imbued him with a sense of organization, patience, and an eye for detail that he hadn't possessed before. The office buzzed around him as usual, but now, instead of being merely part of the machine, he noticed the subtle interactions that drove the workplace dynamics. His assistant, Margaret, a woman in her late 50s who had worked at Vanderson longer than most of the staff combined, raised an eyebrow as he meticulously organized his desk one morning. "Mr. Reed, you've never cared about matching stationery before," she remarked with a bemused smile. Tom chuckled. "I guess I've learned to appreciate the finer details, Margaret. And please call me Tom." Margaret tilted her head, clearly intrigued by this sudden humility. "Did something happen while you were away?" Tom hesitated. He couldn't exactly tell her he'd been living as a sister and wearing pencil skirts for a month. "Let's just say I had a crash course in different perspectives." Meanwhile, Lisa faced her own adjustments. Returning to her freelance journalist role after weeks in Tom's managerial shoes felt liberating, yet oddly restrictive. She missed the structure, the team meetings, and even the sense of accountability that came with Tom's job. For someone who thrived on creative chaos, Lisa found herself longing for a bit of order. During one of their now regular sibling coffee meetups, Lisa confessed, "I hate to admit it, but your world isn't as boring as I thought. There's something satisfying about ticking off tasks and knowing exactly what's expected of you." Tom smirked. "And your world isn't as carefree as I thought. Deadlines, difficult editors, and the constant hustle? I don't know how you do it." They laughed, acknowledging the irony of their mutual discoveries. But the conversation quickly turned serious when Lisa said, "You know, Tom, I think the experiment was about more than just swapping roles. It forced us to see the world through someone else's eyes." "That's rare." Tom nodded. It also made me realize how much of ourselves we leave unexplored because we're stuck in our routines. I never thought I'd enjoy being a secretary or that I'd be good at it. Lisa's eyes twinkled mischievously. Speaking of that, have you heard from Caroline? She seemed pretty impressed with me. Funny you should ask, Tom said, pulling out his phone. She sent me a message the other day. Apparently, she wants Lisa to collaborate on an upcoming project. Lisa burst out laughing. Oh no, what have you done? Now I'll have to live up to your newfound reputation. As weeks turned into months, the effects of the experiment continued to ripple through their lives. Tom began implementing changes at Vanderson Enterprises that reflected the lessons he'd learned from the magazine world. He introduced more streamlined scheduling tools, encouraged open communication among his team, and even started hosting casual brainstorming sessions, an idea he'd borrowed from Lisa's editorial meetings. His efforts didn't go unnoticed. During a quarterly review, Vanderson's CEO, Mr. Bradley, commended Tom's leadership. I don't know what's gotten into you, Tom, but whatever it is, keep it up. The team's morale has never been higher. Tom smiled, knowing that his time as Lisa had played a significant role in his transformation. Lisa, on the other hand, found herself drawn to new types of stories. Instead of focusing solely on hard-hitting investigative pieces, she started exploring human interest stories, profiles of individuals who had undergone unique personal transformations. One of her most popular articles was titled "Walking in Their Shoes: The Power of Perspective," inspired by her experience swapping lives with Tom. The article went viral, sparking conversations about empathy and the importance of understanding different perspectives. Lisa received dozens of emails from readers who were moved by the piece. Some even shared their own stories of stepping out of their comfort zones and discovering new facets of themselves. One evening, Lisa called Tom with an idea. What if we turned this whole switch experiment into a broader initiative? Something that encourages people to try new roles, step into unfamiliar situations, and grow from the experience. Tom was intrigued. You mean like a program or an organization? Exactly, Lisa said. We could start small, host workshops, partner with companies or schools, and maybe even launch an online platform where people can share their stories.
Tom thought about it.
The idea resonated with him, not just because of their own experience, but because he'd seen how his own team had benefited from the changes he'd brought back from the experiment. I'm in, he said. Let's do it. Over the next few months, the siblings poured their energy into creating what they called the Perspective Exchange. The initiative offered immersive role-swapping experiences for individuals, companies, and even communities. Their first pilot program involved employees at a local tech startup trading places with staff from a nonprofit organization. The results were astounding. Participants reported increased empathy, improved communication skills, and a deeper appreciation for the challenges others faced. The program garnered media attention, with Lisa's connections in the publishing world helping to spread the word. Tom and Lisa found themselves busier than ever, but for the first time in a long while, they felt truly fulfilled. The Perspective Exchange became a testament to their shared belief that growth came from stepping outside one's comfort zone. 1 year after their initial experiment, Tom and Lisa stood on a stage at a leadership conference, presenting the story of their journey to an audience of industry leaders, educators, and innovators. Tom, dressed in a tailored suit with a vibrant pocket square, a nod to his time as Lisa, spoke with confidence and humor. Sometimes, it takes stepping into someone else's shoes, literally, to understand the full spectrum of what we're capable of, he said, glancing at Lisa, who grinned back at him. Lisa took the mic next. And sometimes, it's not just about understanding someone else's life, but rediscovering yourself in the process. If you told me a year ago that I'd be here today, working alongside my brother to change how people see the world, I'd have laughed. But here we are. The audience erupted into applause, and as Tom and Lisa looked out at the sea of faces, they knew they'd created something meaningful, something that went far beyond their initial experiment. Later that night, as they celebrated over dinner, Lisa raised her glass. To Italy, she said with a wink. We've earned that vacation. Tom laughed. To Italy, and to all the unexpected places life takes us. Their glasses clinked, and in that moment, they knew the adventure was only just beginning. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.